In this video, you will see the difference between a fixed and a liquid layout. Here I have a web page. It's a fairly standard layout. It's got a body content area that's centered on the page with a background image and some navigation on the left, a header and a footer at the bottom of the page. If this is all you see, you may not realize you're even looking at a liquid layout, but the way you can tell is when the browser is resized. If I make the browser larger, the text flows around, and as you can see, the amount of actual space on the left and the right of the body content gets a little bit bigger. The entire body content actually takes up more space, but the space that it's taking up relative to the browser window, it's exactly the same. It's 80% of the browser window. Then if we make it smaller, as we scroll down, it continues to stay in the center with a smaller and smaller border on the edge until it's finally so small that even the navigation is kind of cramped. That's a liquid layout. So let's switch to the HTML and let's change it to a fixed width layout. Here you can see the style sheet that I have for my web page, and I'm going to change it to a fixed width layout by deleting the comments around this width of 640 pixels. This defines the body content or container area of the page. And then I'm also going to change the navigation to have a fixed width as well. So it's going to, rather than be 25%, the cascade will put the 160 pixels on, which is a very specific number. So we'll save this document. Now before I reload the web page, you'll notice that the page may change slightly because while this browser window is around 800 by 600 pixels wide, when I reload it to be a fixed width, it's going to take the exact dimensions. And I tried to get it close, but it's probably going to be a little off. And as you can see, when I reloaded, it got a little bit wider, so I obviously have my browser window not open to exact 600 by 800. But the main difference between a fixed width layout and a liquid layout is what happens when your browser gets bigger and smaller. When it gets bigger, the only thing that changes is the amount of background image that you can see. The width of the body content is still the same, 640 pixels. If I make it smaller, same thing. I can drag it all the way down to the smallest my browser will make. And now there's actually a left to right scroll bar, but the body content pane is exactly the same size. I can resize my browser window till all I can see is the body content. I can't see any of the background image. And that's because this is a fixed width and it's going to sit there as wide as it can be and never change. So that's the difference between a fixed width and a liquid layout. And it won't affect most customers. Most customers come to a web page and view it with their web browser open to where they're open to. But if you're planning on working with responsive design, one of the ways you can get started is by using percentage widths, and that will give you a liquid layout that will work if somebody's on a smartphone or on a huge maximized monitor. And that's the difference between fixed and liquid layouts.